Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to yet another episode of the Growth Invitation, where I am committed to bringing you powerful females from all over the world to actually help you grow on your journey. Because actually, what I want to do is to share with you that invitation and that inspiration for you so that you know, no matter where you are, what you've experienced, who you are right now, what your starting point is, you can always choose to grow and manifest your future. So today I am super excited to have brought on Jacquelynn Peterson to have a conversation with me. Hello, Jacquelynn.
Hey, Janette. Hi, everyone.
Super excited about this conversation because we're talking about something that is super powerful, which is about finding your path and stepping into your power. Both myself and Jacquelynn have been, I want to say, like, the colleagues, classmates at the Lisa Nichols certified training program, and we have been through a lot together over the past year, and we were lucky enough to have graduated together in November. And I think throughout this journey, we have witnessed our growth like this.
Yes.
It's not like this, it's not like it's like this.
For sure.
And we watched each other kind of like right at the beginning, and how I know you shared with me that you saw how I saw your side when you were kind of a little bit shy, and then now on the other side, with this bright, beautiful smile on your face, sharing and doing more of what you do. So, which I am super excited to see. Before we continue with the conversation, Jacquelynn, maybe you can give a quick introduction about yourself and, what brought you here today to kind of talk about this topic.
Yeah, thank you, Janette. Yeah. So I am a transformational coach and speaker, and through the speaking, the coaching, and the retreats that I host, women essentially they step into their greatness. They're able to find their path, find their purpose, reclaim their power, and succeed on their terms. And that process is really about, and I think that's why I'm so excited to join you here today, Janette, is because I believe that every woman, every one of us have this special gift within us, have a light within us. And sometimes through the course of life, and as we're navigating the ups and downs and challenges of life, we sometimes forget about our own light, and we oftentimes even dim our own light as well, right? And and I think it's really important for us, especially as women, to hold space for one another and remind each other of our own light and be able to help one another shine our light, and together we'll illuminate the world.
Yes, and that is so powerful. I think one of the things that really drew me to you, Jacquelynn, was because of that, the big, massive heart that you've got, and how you're always there to empower others. You're always looking for ways how you can support each other, how can you help someone else grow, and you're always one of those people. We had a Facebook community, and you're always there to comment on everyone's videos and just cheer them on no matter what is happening, and I find that really beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Jeanette, and real because it's genuine, right? Because growing up, it's for me there was I didn't feel a lot of that love, like womanly, kind of like that sisterhood, kind of support and love, and so I had to create what I needed for myself, right? And for me, in order to experience that, I realized that it first has to start with me, right? And so if I can cultivate that from within and create that environment and model that to others, then it creates space for others to join in on that movement. And it really has been such a wonderful way of being able to, everywhere I go, to be able to share that love and emit that light and inspire others to also join in that movement of compassion and uplifting one another as well.
Yeah, I really, really resonate with that because I definitely didn't have that community, or at least, actually, I didn't realize I had that community
Mm,
until I kind of had to do some inner work for myself.
yeah,
And then I realized, oh, these people, they seem to always be there. It doesn't matter
right.
what, like what's going on. And it kind of took a lot of work within me to actually be able to see and feel like I belong in that part. I
Yeah.
belong in that community, that tribe.
Yeah. Oh, I love what you just said there, Janette, because that really speaks to your growth on your journey and your heightened awareness about yourself and your environment. Because you're right, everything that we have and we need and we want is always around us, is always there. Now the question is a matter of whether or not we ourselves are aware of it and recognize it, right? And so I really love that because that is so true, because we hear it all the time of people saying, you know, finding your soulmate or whatnot, right? There might be people that you've already known that's crossed paths with you all this time, and then all of a sudden one day you wake up and you see that person in a different light, but they're already there, right? But I think it's because you now are embodying, right, the love and the compassion and the support for yourself from within, and so therefore now you're able to see what you are inside all around you.
Yes, and it takes work, but
Yeah.
actually it is so worth it on the other side,
Oh, of
honestly.
course.
So let's kind of dive in a little bit more about your story of, where are you now? And actually, how did you get there? How did let's talk about how did you step into your power and become this radiant self that you are now?
Oh, I love that question. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Because yeah, you look at me now, and a lot of people just like, wow, you're just always so happy and radiant, and have you always been like that? And to be honest, Jeanette, it's like no, it's had you had asked me that question, or how I was like just what 15 or so years ago, it's like it would have been a completely different story because I was a hot mess in my life. And you know, the funny thing is that I was also very good at putting up a facade of like everything is fine, right? I'm happy, everything is fine. But inside, everything was not fine. Like my life, like my life, I felt like it was just like it was closing in on me, and things were it's just starting to crumble, like little piece, little bit at a time. And I try to hold it together. I try to, you know, put on a strong front and a brave front and hide behind that facade of happiness until I couldn't anymore. And in 2012, I found myself like literally not just rock bottom, but like triple rock bottom, right? It's like seriously, it was I just got laid off from my job. I was over $300,000 in debt. And on top of that, add all of that on top of that is my husband and I, we were literally a signature away from divorce, like literally a signature away from divorce. So I had three things hitting me all together at once. And it's like I found myself of just like everything that I had tied my identity to, my sense of success and identity to, was like literally stripped away from me, right? With like nothing to do, nowhere to go, no money in the bank, and my family and marriage was falling apart. It was just like, oh my gosh, like how did I how did I get here? Like me, right? Miss Overachiever and Miss Goody Tissue, like doing everything by the books and checking off every single box that could possibly come my way. Like, how did I get here? Like I was faced with that question in 2012, when all three of those aspects of my life came crashing down on me, and it was a rude awakening to say the least, Janette. And but that was also, to me, when I look at, a lot of people associate rock bottom as like, oh my God, that's like the worst possible thing that could possibly happen to you, right? But looking back now, I have a different relationship with rock bottom. And I'm actually very thankful of that experience, because to me, rock bottom is an opportunity for me to course correct. And had it not been for that experience, I think stubborn me and overachiever me would have just kept going in the direction of my life the way that I was, and living by default, and fulfilling someone else's dream and expectations of me, rather than living for me. So
I really love what you just shared there. Like, in terms of the way that you were, and I think a lot of us are brought up to do, like, you obviously, you know, as you grow up, you go to school, you go to college, you go to uni, then you get a job, then you become a manager, and then a senior manager, and you kind of progress your way up, right?
Yeah.
And at what point do you go, well, hang on a minute, like, is this what I really want? And what I would love to ask you is, before you got to that version of rock bottom, did you see any signs? Were there any red flags? I was like, I'm kind of going in that direction, but I'm going to keep going anyway, because that's what I've been told to do.
Oh my gosh, there were like flags and signs like everywhere. I was just too stubborn and ignorant to acknowledge it, and being like, oh, I can get through it. It's like it's gonna pass, right? But the thing was, it's like I was tolerant. I was tolerant of all the red flags, of all the misery that I was feeling every day, all the stress, right? In my relationship, in my work. I didn't find my work fulfilling. It didn't ignite anything in my soul. It was just like I just knew that I had to do the best I could at it in order for me to continue to get my paycheck and advance in my career, right? It wasn't from a point of like, this is something I'm really passionate about, and I can see the direct correlation of what I do and the impact that it's making in the world, right? And so I was seeing all that everywhere, and every day I would come home, I would feel so drained, right? I would feel like literally so emotionally and physically drained, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to go anywhere, and I just didn't want to do anything, right? And every day was just like this monotonous routine, and I wake up and the sound of the alarm clock every day was just like, oh my gosh, I dreaded that so much. And every day it got harder to peel myself and drag myself out of bed, right? And that went on for decades, like decades, Janette. Yeah.
Wow. And I definitely resonate with that, because I have been through my version. And I think that's not to say that, you know, people, like the audience is listening, that you have to start your own business, you have to do your own thing, because we both have our own businesses, or you have to be coach of any sort. But actually, it's just what makes you happy, and what does success actually look like for you? Like, what is your path for you? Because I was having a conversation with my mom today, and she was still saying to me, oh yeah, so we were talking about feng shui, and you're like, oh no, but it's going to be okay, because this year, if you work hard, then you're going to be successful. I'm like, who doesn't say that? Like, who does? I don't need a feng shui master to tell me, you know, that. But on the flip side is that it has also been so ingrained into us. Work hard equals success.
Yes.
If you are on the wrong path, work hard equals burnout or an overwhelm.
For sure.
Everything else attached to that, right?
Yeah. I really love what you just said there, because it's a myth. It's really like this myth out there in society saying just work hard and you'll succeed and you'll get whatever you want and you'll be happy, right? But like you said, it's like if you work hard but it's not intentional and it's not aligned with who you are, it will lead you to burnout, right? And even if you do achieve that promotion or that big client contract or whatnot, it's just fleeting success, right? As soon as you're excited, like, oh my God, I got the promotion, as soon as that excitement washes over you, it's like you're back with like, okay, well, what's next, right? I want to go back to something you had said a few minutes ago of asking, like, not even, you're just going down this path and you're not even stopping to ask yourself, is this what you really want? And Janette, I didn't ask myself that question until after hitting rock bottom, and I was literally looking at my divorce settlement and staring at the blank line and contemplating whether or not I should sign it. That was the only time when I had enough wherewithal within me to ask myself, Jacquelynn, is this what you really want? And that was the first time, and I was like 30 something years old. That was the first time in my life I've ever asked myself if I ever wanted something or didn't want something, because I was just operating by default.
Wow.
Right. And that created enough space for me to pause and really think for myself for the very first time in my life. And that helped me to connect to my younger self that has been trying to tell me, holding on to this promise that I made to myself that I almost broke. Because I remember, like, growing up in a broken family, and the challenges of growing up in a broken family. I had once made a promise to myself, I believe at 14 or so, if, like, when I grow up, I would do whatever it took to make my marriage work so that my children would never have to go through what I'm going through right now. And when I paused and I asked myself that question, staring at that blank divorce settlement, um, that helped me to reconnect back to my younger self and the promise that I made to my younger self that I was about to break. And that would have been, to me, would have been a point of no return for me. And so luckily, I was able to catch myself and reconnect back to who I really was and what is it that I really want in my life instead. And I knew that I didn't want to raise my son in a broken family, right? And I knew that whatever is going on, I had to figure this out for me. And I knew that the only reason why I'm in this predicament is not because there's something wrong with my husband or that my marriage was broken, but there were broken parts within me that needed fixing first before I could fix anything else in my life.
Wow, that is just, say that all over again. So people watch the replay. Honestly, that is one of the most profound, like, realizations. But like you said, it's an absolute awakening moment, and
Yeah.
so powerful in what you just shared is, what is it that is actually happening right now? Things are not going well,
Yeah.
but what's actually happening? Is it genuinely the outside, the people, the whoever, manager, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever,
Yeah.
human outside, and the environment? Or is there something that's within us
Yeah.
that's genuinely holding us back and going, oh no, don't do that, because that's just my way of how I resonate with something. This is my way, my habits, my beliefs. Yeah, so that is so powerful.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go back on that journey with you. So talking about finding your path. So you asked yourself that question, and you had that space to stop and go, okay, whoa, hang on a minute, Jacquelynn. Like, is this really what we want? What happens next? Like, how do you then, so if someone's there at that crossroad going, oh, okay, I want A or B, okay, I want B, okay, but now what?
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
I find that path and then
Right.
actually empower myself to go on that journey? Because just because I want it doesn't mean it comes easy, and it's still
Exactly.
freaking scary.
Yes, yes, it is. And I think that I thank you for asking that question, because that's really a question that I really keep to heart, right? Of when I'm helping clients and I'm talking to anyone who's in that predicament of, like, they're there right now. How do they take the first step to move forward? right? And get out of this rut that they're in. And to me, it really falls back into like three steps, right? Is the first is that you have to be willing to surrender without giving up.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is that oftentimes when you're faced with these challenges, right? Like for myself and during my rock bottom phase, right? Initially, facing like getting laid off and stuff, like I fought it. Like I'm like, there is no way, right? There's no way that someone like me, right, with my skill sets and my number of years in the corporate world and expertise and whatnot, that I'm not of value, right? And so like at first I'm angry. We go through the different stages of grief, right? The anger and whatnot. And I fought it. I fought it. So I'm like, I'm going to get back on the horse. I'm gonna get a better job, right? And for 6 months straight, I was chained to my laptop, like applying to one job after another, trying to fight the situation. And like crickets, Janette, like not even a rejection level, like just crickets. And then one day, like I had to like come home to my empty apartment, and I literally hands up in the air, and I just declare, I'm like universe, like I freaking give up. I literally out loud, like hands up in the air. It's like I give up. Like I don't know what's going on here. I thought I was doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but nothing is working. And I know. And I was like, I know that I have value to give. I know this is not the end of my story, right? This is not how my story ends, right? And so I know that there's a higher reason why you want me to be still right now. And so I give up. And from now on, I'm going to do the best that I can to get out of my own way and to listen and receive whatever it guidance or whatever it is that you are trying to lead me and guide me to right now. Like that was the turning point for me. Like I was surrendering, but not giving up. It was more of like I'm accepting that I cannot continue on this path anymore, and
Mm.
that I'm willing to entertain that there is a different path that I'm supposed to go down instead, right?
Yeah.
And so
That
it's giving up
surrender
that struggle.
moment. Sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was gonna say that surrender moment,
Mhm.
like a lot of people, because of the word surrender, that
Yeah,
has a lot of negative connotations to
yeah,
it. People are still a little bit confused with that.
yeah,
But actually, to really bring home what you're sharing is surrender doesn't mean give up. Okay, I'm just gonna sit there and just go
right, right,
whatever. It doesn't mean that. It
yeah.
actually means let go of the need for the control
Yes, yes, and the struggle, right?
and the struggle. Yeah,
Yeah,
just give it
yeah,
back to wherever it came from.
right,
It's not
right.
yours.
Right. And yeah, and it just is to me, I call it faithfully surrendering, right? It's a faithful surrender because you know that you accept that you can't continue on this path anymore, and that you're now open and understand that there's a new path that you're supposed to go down. You just can't see it yet, but you know there's a new path that's about to unravel for you, right? That's what I mean by surrender, and but without giving up. And it's because you're letting go of the struggle, you're letting go of control, and you are shifting your focus from fighting to now receiving.
Mm.
Right? And I think that that's really the first step ever, that a crucial step that you need to make. And then the second step is that you need to feel the love despite the loneliness, right?
Oh.
Because when you're in that rock bottom, that rut, the world around you, you feel like, oh my gosh, you're so alone, and that you're not loved, and you're not worthy, and no one cares about you, or that all these bad things that keep happening to you. And so you have to find a way to restore love and happiness within you
Mm.
first, in order for you to receive whatever guidance or lesson or gift, whatever it is that the universe or the greater power is trying to send your way. right? And so in this moment, for high function individuals like you and I, it's really hard. Trust me, Janette, because this moment I remember back in my rock bottom mode. I spent probably the next few months just letting go and doing everything that I could to fill myself back up again. So that could be I was going to the gym every day. I was taking care of my body, my health. I was experimenting with different foods because I love cooking, and so I was doing all these things that brought me joy again, right? And really, like, that was just a lifesaver for me, because how often do high functioning individuals like you and I, right, who's constantly overachieving, trying to take care of other people, other things, right, take time for us to fill our cup back up, right? And so that was just such a huge part of it. And so that's the second part, is now it's like filling yourself back up so that you are now in alignment with the love and the happiness and whatever it is that you're trying to receive and want next, right? Whether that be your next promotion, your next job, your soulmate, or whatever it is that you're trying to attract next in your life, right? At the basis of it is love and happiness. But
For
if you,
yourself.
yes, right? And if you don't feel that from within, that can't flow to you, right? You have to be in alignment with what is it that you're desiring. So that's the second step. And then the third step is then to activate possibilities with curiosity, right? And that's where the question of asking these empowering questions of, like, is this what you really want, right? Or how could what is it that I desire be possible? What could I be doing? What is possible for me now without this thing that I've attached my identity to? Right? And so you just sit in this space of curiosity and asking yourself all these empowering questions, right? And by doing so, you're now accessing ideas and possibilities. And that was when I started asking myself all these things. That was when I started, okay, reach out to this person, or just you haven't talked to this person in a while, reach out to them. Or in my case, it's like, hey, when you got laid off, the company gave you a folder. You never even opened it. Why don't you open it and see what's in it? Right? It's like
Oh.
they must have given you that folder for a reason. And so that was when I had this inspiration. I opened up that folder, and in that folder was a right management, kind of right placement kind of thing, helping you to get back on your feet again. And I reached out to that company, which introduced me to a career coach. He and I became friends, and that was my first exposure and experience with a coach, working with the coach. And he introduced me to the coaching community in the Tampa Bay area, and I started volunteering to be on their board and helping out, because I believed in what they were doing and the impact they were making. And I just fell in love with that kind of work and volunteer work. And to be honest, at that moment, I didn't really think far. It was just an excuse to get me to shower and put on like decent clothes and makeup and hair and to look half decent, right? Instead of just being in my jammies all the time, all day long. But I just enjoyed that ability to go out and meet people and be of service. And it was just because of that volunteering that I met people that suddenly reached out to me and asked, "Hey, Jacquelynn, I saw on your profile that you used to work at Citigroup and have all these experiences, and we're looking for someone with your exact expertise. Would you be willing to come work for us?" And that
Wow.
was like out of the blue. I wasn't even looking at that point. I was still in vacation mode of giving myself this filling up my cup mode. And then just opportunities literally just started knocking on my door one after another from there.
Wow, what an incredible story. And thank you so much for sharing those 3 tips: surrendering, feeling the love, and activating possibilities with curiosity. Like, those 3 key points are crucial to, like you said, maybe it was just an excuse to get out of your pajamas, but actually it's you getting out of your own way
Yes.
to and having fun again.
Yes.
Like, the word power, I think at this point in the conversation, like what I'm hearing from you, and certainly my experiences, the word power doesn't necessarily mean I have more money, I have more status, I have more, whatever the norm says power is.
Mm-hmm.
Power means I have the power to make myself happy. I
Yes.
have the power to feel love. I have
Yes.
the power to enjoy my life like I came to do.
And yes, and more importantly, I have the power to feel enough as I am.
Yes.
That to me is the ultimate power, because when you are able to feel that way about yourself, no one can take that power away from you.
Mm.
And no matter what situation life throws at you, you will always rise above the challenge.
Wow, what a beautiful and wholesome, like, way to actually end our episode today, because I just, I really resonate with that. It's been a long, very long journey of my self-worth journey, finding myself and understanding who I really am.
Yeah.
And what you just shared there, that I know is going to help so many people out there with finding themselves, understanding what is their path, what is
Mhm.
their journey, and how to step into their power so that they know just because they're here, they're already enough.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, for me, I'll just leave with one other kind of tidbit that I've learned on this journey, is that finding your path, right? It's, yes, it's about like, hey, what should I be doing with my life, or direction or purpose and whatnot, right? That's more from a strategic side. But truly, to truly find your path, yours alone, the first step to that is that you have to find the person who is going to be traveling on that path first, which is
Mm.
yourself, right? So that's why it's like finding yourself on this journey is the first step to finding your path and stepping back into your power.
Oh, I could go on forever with you. Like, I'm just like, oh, I was like, yes, give me more nuggets. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Jacquelynn, for sharing all of your wisdom and all of your experiences and your personal journey so vulnerably, and just being the true, authentic you. We really appreciate you doing that, because it makes us know that actually we're not alone.
Yeah.
We are so not alone. And there's always sort of like, there's every person on this planet has been going on, or is going on that journey, has
Mm-hmm.
gone on that journey.
Yeah.
So how can we support each other in finding the way and just reclaiming our power again is so important. So thank you so much for sharing that and being here today.
Oh, of
Um,
course, it's my absolute pleasure. It truly, truly is. Thank you, Janette.
And, for the audience, whether you're watching live or whether you're actually watching the replay, we would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this episode? Maybe you've had some similar experiences. Maybe you're going through something that Jacquelynn or I have described now. So what are you finding? What are your thoughts? And, we would love to hear from you. And, and of course, share what is one takeaway that you have from this episode. And on that note, thank you so much once again, Jacquelynn, for being here. It has been my honor. I've been really looking forward to this. And honestly, I can never, it's hard to end a conversation with you. It's always the beginning of the next one. So
Yes.
thank you so much for that, and your time as well. And thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you all at the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.